Welcome to the podcast of Wake Up Church. We've been asleep for too long. This is your host, Dr. Rosalyn Best. Today's podcast is being sponsored by bestlegacyfoundation.org. Please visit the website for opportunities for scholarships and mentorships and a chance to leave a lasting legacy. This is part 2 of the podcast, Gender Fluidity is Satanic Ingenuity. Part 2. Let's get it, church. Church, we simply cannot replace a man with another woman, nor can we replace a woman with another man. It is not in the order of God. God never established nor identifies anything as being gender fluid. Now, that's a language to satisfy the cravings and abnormal lusts and desires of mankind implanted through satanic ingenuity. The devil is skillful and he is clever at achieving one's aim to indirectly and deceitfully implement his agenda. God will not co-sign on anything he did not design. Let me say it again. God will never co-sign on anything he did not design. Even though our culture and society can act as if God is not involved in gender, creation, or the process of identifying ourselves, it can never be ignored or replaced. The essential role that God has in identifying his creation is indisputable. Why would he give Adam the task to name the animals if proper labeling was not important? Food for thought. Each creation he made male and female. Genesis 5:2. Now, if we're going to be able to understand what switching positions and roles and gender, let me give you an example. What if elephants were able to communicate with humans? Do you think that the elephants might decide that they want to be renamed and wish to be relabeled as whales? Now, that logic is absolutely absurd. Well, the demonic backwards thinking of people wanting to dismiss their gender is equally as absurd. Jesus had a gender. He was the Son of God, plain and simple. He was not a homosexual just because he was hanging around with his disciples. Understand, he was to prepare them for the revolution that was to take place before, during, and especially after his ascension to heaven. He was on a job. He knew his assignment. When God breathed into Adam, he became a living soul. He was merely dust and clay until God released a part of himself that was essential to the life cycle of mankind. God is in it. God is in you. You can't dismiss away your gender nor your identity. We were created in the image of God. Genesis 1:27 says, and God made man according to the image of God. He made him. Male and female, he made them. Them is a pronoun that means two or more. They is a pronoun that means two or more. So to want to use they and them to describe one person, it's grammatically incorrect and it's also genetically incorrect. You can't be of them unless you include that spirit that is housed inside of you that has you believing that you're something that you're not. Image means likeness. We embody a mind, a soul, and a spirit. There are 3 parts to every creation. God designed us that way. God came in the form of flesh as a part of himself, being Jesus, who endured death, hell, and the grave to arise as the Christ. The resurrected Jesus became Christ, the risen King. Lord and King are of masculine gender. A queen is of female gender. Now, men and women were designed to do specific things according to their gender. Men bear the seed for procreation, and women have the incubation space and the oven, if you will, for lack of a better word. But women are responsible for taking and receiving that seed to procreate and create a new image, which is a newborn designed in the same image of God as themselves. Satan wants gender confusion directly injected and infused in our culture. And for what particular reason, you might ask? He is the author of confusion. He has no desire to see the images of God in the earth. He has no desire to see more of God being created in the earth. He is to destroy anything good that came from God. Humans, male and female. He has no specific gender himself, but he embodies a hybrid. He has both genders, and I'll show you. We have spent decades on saving the whale and saving specific endangered species, not to save all the creation, because many creations are their survivors. They didn't need interventions for their safety. Yet here we are needing to save mankind, our endangered species, male and female, from the satanic demolition design and crafted strategically to destroy gender, to cross the line that God established. God said women were the weaker vessel. 1 Peter 3:7. What did he mean? Now, we know genetically women are physically not as strong as men. Ephesians 5:22-23. It says to dwell with your wife according to knowledge, giving her honor as the weaker vessel. The word dwell is the imperative, has the idea of standing beside her, dwelling in a presiding position. In other words, the husband is to take his place as the head according to God's order, not the satanic order. The word knowledge can be translated as understanding. Seeing one's wife as a vessel of honor, respect, and care because she is weaker. Women are physically weaker is undeniable. And so when a trans so-called woman wants to compete against women in competition, that is an unfair advantage that nobody wants to talk about. But I will. If gender was fluid, why would he take the time to have this matter addressed in the Bible? Our basic instructions before leaving Earth. Couldn't this have been one of the lost books that was left out if gender didn't matter to God? It's important. It's too important to dismiss. And it's too important to ignore your gender identity. I bind the satanic forces working against me. I shut you down by the blood of Jesus. I will deliver this message. It's too important to dismiss your gender identity. You can say whatever you like as an individual, but your ideas, opinions, and thoughts don't stand a chance against the author of origination. We did not come into creation vicariously. We didn't just appear on the scene. We were and still are a created being, plain and simple, with a specific label to be properly identified. Trans women are simply men that are pretending to be something they don't intend to be. They will outperform all natural women in any kind of sports or event. They don't have natural estrogen. They have to get a false application. Let a trans woman get into a fight and he will forget to be a woman and fight another man like he's able to do. You should never pretend to be who you don't intend to be. To be quite frank, it's an insult for a trans person to say they are, for trans women to say that they are real women. They don't have any real cycles, period. They have no ability to carry a baby. They don't have a womb. They cannot breastfeed their offspring. So you want me to agree that you are a female because you wear high heels, put on makeup, wear women apparel, and take hormone shots. Get the hell out of here with that cross-dressing, contaminating lie. I want this message to sting you if you claiming to be a flaming female, but do not meet the qualifications established by the manufacturer, God himself. He did not make a man the weaker vessel, and injections of female hormones won't change the design. Satan has a lot of nerve to insult real women with the idea that they can be replaced by a man's desire to be a woman. It's not that easy or convenient as they think it is. That's just like a white man in blackface. He will never understand the black struggle nor the negative implications of being black 24/7. Yet he's on stage mocking people of color for entertainment reasons. Now, you can play all the roles you want, but when recess is over, then it's time to get serious about being who God created you to be. Nothing more, nothing less. If whales decided they wanted to become elephants, they could not survive in the environment of elephants. The extreme heat, minimal access to clean water, walking on all four extremities. Whales don't even have the proper design to survive in the world of the elephant. They are both large in size, but yet very different in function, and the ability to perform is a designated environment for their own survival. The elephant couldn't survive in the ocean, and the whale could not survive on land. You folks are playing with God, and God is not to be played with. He said, everything I created is good. You can't create anything better than God. Mankind, under satanic influence, can attempt to create alternatives to God's design, but the genetic coding does not lie. It stays the same. You are XX or XY, with a few exceptions. Your DNA, which is your most essential part of your biological inheritance, your biological inheritance is your kingdom portion. The strongest images of satanic worship is a transgender creation possessing both male and female attributes. It's a hybrid or hermaphrodite. Could you be interfering with the deity of the Trinity, whatever you're pretending to be? Satan is wanting to alter and disfigure what God created. He has an agenda, and here is the proof in black and white. Wake up, church. Here I have an image. This image has breast, and it has a penis coming from the middle with the goat. It's called a baphomet. It is the dark-sided demon of satanic worship. He envisioned a winged hermaphrodite with a torch between his horn and a pentagon on his forehead. And the words on his arms leading up and down mean solve and separate and join together. This as well is the satanic deity. And here we have two children right beside a white girl and a black boy with an afro as the emblem worshiping this deity. Wake up, church. It's time we recognize who we're fighting against.